Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick post about some reading strategies for our Latin American history class. We have three different textbooks that we're using this term. The first one is Chasteen, Born in Blood and Fire. Um, the second one is Wood's Problems in Latin American History, or in Modern Latin American History. And then we'll be reading, Alicia Partnoy's The Little School. The first two, we're going to be reading something from every unit. Chasteen is the textbook, so it'll have the general narrative of what we'll be covering. And then Wood contains different document excerpts, both from primary and secondary sources, that will give you just a little bit deeper look into some of the things we're studying. Then in each unit, with the exception of Unit 1, so that's why I put this in Unit 2 to start from here forward, we'll also have a journal article. So that means this is an article by a historian or another type of scholar, a geographer, an anthropologist, that helps us to get a deeper look at a particular aspect of the history that we're reading about for the particular unit that we're in. So for each of those units, you'll have to complete a reading worksheet. The reading worksheet asks you to focus on only one of the three assigned readings. So when I say there are three assigned readings, I've bullet pointed them. We have the Chasteen reading, then we have the Wood reading, can't even see my hand, then we have the journal article. So those are the three that we're talking about. Sometimes Chasteen will be 2 chapters, Wood will usually be a chapter and a couple other selected documents. And then the journal article is just what it is. And those are all online, embedded in the syllabus and the learning modules, those journal articles. So that's what we're reading, and I mean, I understand that it's quite a bit to take in. That's why the entire first week of each unit is dedicated to reading and working on the tweets. You should probably want to work on the reading worksheet during that week as well, although that's not due until the second Wednesday. Did that just to give you a little more time to analyze and kind of get in depth about the particular reading that we're working on that week. So the reading worksheet will focus just on one of them, and you'll be alerted in the learning module to which one. So for example, here in Unit 2, you will need to complete the reading worksheet for Chasteen. Next time in Unit 3, you'll need to complete the reading worksheet for the Wood reading in Unit 3. And then for Unit 4, it'll be the journal article, and so on. So pay attention to that, complete the correct reading worksheet. Those are downloadable here in Blackboard for you. As you're trying to kind of take all of this in, you want to be an active reader. And I've put some different websites here below this video in this module that give you some ideas about how to read actively. Have questions in mind. Don't necessarily read from beginning to end with scholarly histories. The Wood book lends itself best, I think, to that kind of reading because Wood tries to, excuse me, I said Wood, I meant Chasteen. The Chasteen book lends itself best to the kind of just straight reading that we're used to for a lot of things because it tells a story. And so that's why it gives us the context, helps us to fit other events that we're looking at in more depth within the framework of that. However, even with Chasteen, sometimes you have to skim. I understand this is college, there's a lot to read, it's virtually impossible to read all of it word for word, so you need to become adept at skimming and getting the most pertinent information from the reading because you'll be responsible for it in the assignments. One great way to do that, what I usually do, is read the first few paragraphs or the introduction section of a given chapter or article. I read that thing word for word and I try to pick out what the author's thesis is. So what is his or her main argument? What is this piece about? What are they trying to help me to understand about Latin America's history? Then I skim through the rest by reading topic sentences and then honing in and reading in more depth on things that either interest me or places where I didn't quite follow the progression of what was going on. And throughout, I also look for evidence, so examples, historical evidence from primary sources, artifacts, whatever it might be, and then I look at how the author is interpreting those to prove his or her point, make his or her argument. Uh, excuse me. And so those are just kind of some cues for reading. You'll want to use the intro paragraphs in Wood to help you get some context for what the documents say. The questions that come along there are very good as well. And also, I highly recommend when we get to the little school, and that's something you'll have to kind of read on your own little by little as we go through the course. It is a pretty quick read, I should say, but it's a heavy read. It deals with torture during the military dictatorship in Argentina. And so the way that Alicia Partnoy has written The Little School is in a kind of series of vignettes, little glimpses into her experience as a prisoner in one of those camps in Argentina. She was disappeared. So I really recommend reading the introduction there. It's written by Julia Alvarez, who is a Dominican, from the Dominican Republic author. So those are just some keys, some cues, some ideas that might help you to get the most out of your reading in this course. As always, please let me know if you have any questions, and I will always be more than happy to help out.